morning and welcome to a World of Tanks tank review. And today it is all about the Tiger P, the Porsche Tiger. This is the Tier 7 German heavy tank, and it is a heavy tank. It weighs 62 tons, or at least mine does, I've got lots of equipment on it, and it has 200mm of frontal hull armour. But the armour isn't without flaws. It has several weak spots on the front, quite a few. Some people say it's made of weak spots, but don't listen to most people, listen to me. So, on the bottom of the hull, the lower glacis, as with most German tanks, it's a weak spot. But, angle it correctly, you're okay. Anyway, the cheeks of the hull, which are the corners, effectively, they are sloped outwards, but they are weak spots. Shoot them from the straight on, from the front of the tank, and it's 100 mils. Shoot it directly and it's 80 mils. So not very thick at all. And then you've got the cupola of the turret, commander's hatch, and it's pretty much 100 mils as well. You're going to go through it. The turret, I don't advise shooting at the turret, because while it is in many places just 100 mils, the gun mantlet has some very, very tough spots, and it's very hard to spot them. Some parts of the turret are absolutely invincible, and you'll just bounce every time. So shooting at the turret, yeah, if you have a good shot, but often if you want to just do damage to the turret, yeah, and you're close enough, you can put a shell through in between the turret and the main hull, because you'll damage the turret ring very, very easily. However, the Tiger P, while if you look at it that way, it seems pretty weak. Yeah. And if you just try to use the armor and charge at the enemy, yeah, you'll probably die, if the enemy team has any idea what it's doing. But what's most impressive about the Tiger P, or what I find the most useful about the Tiger P, is the gun. Now the gun doesn't have the alpha damage, that is, it doesn't have the high average damage that the T29 has, that the IS has with its BL9 gun. Compared to most other Tier 7 heavies, it doesn't have the initial damage that they do. But it makes up for it in the fact that it has 204mm of penetration. It has pretty much 7 rounds a minute for its rate of fire, which is faster than 10 seconds on the reload, and it has an accuracy of 0.34, which is great. The gun falls slightly in that it has an aiming time of 2.9, which is pretty bad. And its average damage is only 240. That's it. If you're willing to load 1,000,000 credits worth of equipment onto this tank, which I certainly was, then you can get the enhanced gun laying drive, so plus 10% on the aiming time, so that's 0.29 off 2.9 is 2.61. So that's pretty good. Suddenly becomes alright. But the idea of the Tiger P is not speeding through and then you stop and try to have a snipe. That's not what the Tiger P is about. The Tiger P, it has two uses. There are two ways you can use the Tiger P, and you have to be very particular about this. I have seen pretty much every Tiger P driver I see is a terrible driver. I don't understand what it is. Or maybe just most players suck. I don't know. But the Tiger P is never played correctly. The idea is it can be played in two ways. One is sniping from a distance, because yeah, it's got weak spots on the edges of the hull, on the bottom of the hull, and at the top of the turret, but good luck hitting those from 400 meters. It's going to hit you from 400 meters. He doesn't give a Tiger P's gun, doesn't give a crap. 400 meters, 500 meters, 2 kilometers, it doesn't care. But if you're a T29 and you see that shot, you're going to go, no. And you're just going to move on your way. That, or you're going to waste some shells, give away your position, and the Tiger P will shoot your hull. No. You snipe with this tank, and you do alright. But that's not that great. What I love the Tiger P for is the city brawling. And the reason why it's good at city brawling is because in a city, horrible close quarters, around dodgy city corners, you can pretty much only see the Tiger P's front, and it controls your fight. If you've ever seen those peekaboo fights, the Tiger P is excellent at them. Yeah, it doesn't have the the alpha damage to pop out, put a massive hole through the enemy tank, and then back up for its longer reload. No, but what the Tiger P can do is poke out, shoot your tracks off. Someone else does some damage, and you just keep poking out and put more holes in them because you reload faster than they can fix their track. And when you're going around corners, the Tiger P can control what armor you can see. If you're going around, if you're turning left, that is the ideal situation for the Tiger P. And you're thinking, Naroki, is your tank fussy about turning left and right? Well, the cupola on the turret is on the left side of the turret. It's not absolute left edge, but it is on the left side. Now, if you're only poking out just far enough to get your shot in, they're not going to be able to see your turret's hatch. They'll also not be able to get a shot through the left hull cheek if you're driving around the corner correctly, and the right hull cheek is going to be at far more than 70 degrees, and so it's an immediate ricochet. The best shot they have then is at your lower glacis, and if you're angling it enough, it's more like 130 mils. And even then, if you've got some stuff on the ground, if there's some, if there's some kind of debris on the ground, they're not going to be able to hit that either. And then suddenly, their whole plan comes tumbling down, and you're just free to shoot whatever part of them you want because you have 204 millimeters of penetration. 203, my mistake. 203 millimeters of penetration, which is enough to get through a Tiger P's hull. So there's no problem. Now, the one other thing about the Tiger P is the side and back is crap. It's 80 millimeters thick on the side and 80 millimeters thick on the back. That said, I have had one occasion where a Rheinmetall Borsig managed to bounce a shot off my ass. It was an ally, so that was quite fortunate. But don't rely on it, because that's not going to happen very often. Point is, the side and rear armor is not very good, and if someone manages to flank a Tiger P, you're in a bit of trouble, because you don't have the alpha damage to deal with them quickly. Your DPM is okay, but if they decided to ring you, then, well, you're screwed. So if you're in a city, that's good, because you only really get fought from the front and behind, and if you have any kind of competent team, they're not going to let people get behind you, or you won't get surrounded such that you won't be able to turn around. Anyway, that's why the Tiger P is best used either sniping or in a town. But there is arguably one other thing it is good at. Now this is best part. I like the armor, I love the gun, but what I love the most is that it's heavy and that it has very good frontal armor. And you've got the idea forming in your back of your head. What do you mean, Haruku? Well, ramming. The Tiger P is the best tank I have ever driven for ramming enemy tanks, because you're heavier than most tanks. If you get a bit of a run-up, you have a faster top speed than the Henschel Tiger. I think I just mentioned it again. Crap, I wasn't meant to mention it. But point is, you've got pretty good top speed. You don't accelerate very fast on flat ground, but get you down a hill and you're alright. You weigh a lot, and you have very thick frontal armor. Now my Tiger P, personally, I have my crew with first perk on my driver. You might think, oh, clutch braking or smooth ride, that's a must. No, controlled impact, because I love ramming. Ramming in the Tiger P, if all else fails, if someone's gotten up close and quarters with you and I'm reloading, ram them. You can ram pretty much any tank that you'll face. I've ram killed tier 8s, I've ram killed a TS 9 or 2. Though then it becomes a bit of a worry because most of them are fat shits. But point is, ramming is fun in this tank. I didn't load a spall liner, I was tempted, but I decided to get improved ventilation. The Tiger P is great at ramming. Now the Tiger P, if you get top tier, it's good news. You're a top tier. Good luck penetrating my frontal armor, you chumps. If you're mid tier, if there are tier 8s in the game, then you might think, oh, my armor's not that impressive anymore. Well, no it's not, but you still have the gun. If you put an IS in a tier 8 game with its BL9 gun, that 175mm of penetration is going to get really boring very quickly, because you're going to have the big old 13-second or whatever reload, and right after a few bounces. Very disappointing, and that's why the IS, while it's excellent, is top tier, because that alpha damage, it's not very good in high tiers. The Tiger P does not suffer from this problem. It's got the accuracy so that it doesn't need to get close to the tier 8 targets that could put a shell through it, and it has the penetration to still do its damage. And the same goes for tier 9 games. The Tiger P doesn't care what tier it's in. Yes, it is very nice in tier 7, because then the city brawling is very effective, because then you just drive forward and you get in the right position around the corner, and you just say, shoot me! Now, one thing you have to remember about the Tiger P though is, yes, it's very good in all tiers, but that's if you're driving it correctly. people think that it must drive like other heavies. And when I say like other heavies, I mean that people try to side scrape using the Tiger P. They want to side scrape out and have a bit of a shoot. Now, that doesn't work. The Tiger P is very good at going around a corner using its front. It is very bad at going around a corner showing its side. Now the reason for this is those hull cheeks, and also the fact that it's a front mounted turret. If you're driving an IS, certainly, your turret's not that close to the front. You reverse out, there's no real hull cheeks for them to shoot at. If you're doing it in a T29, go for it, there's no corners. But the Tiger P is not like that. The Tiger P, as counterintuitive as may be, if you're going to go around a corner, go around it head on, because that's where your armor is, and you don't have as long as you hide your corner, there's no corners for them to shoot at. You can't side scrape with the Tiger P. Those hull cheeks will kill you, and yet I have faced driver after driver who attempts to use side scraping to defeat me. Now you might think Tiger P versus Tiger P, oh how's that end? Well, it entirely depends on how competent the other driver is. I've beaten too many people because they think they can side scrape with the Tiger P. It doesn't work. I cannot stress this enough. Do not side scrape with the Tiger P, because they'll just go, oh, just wait for it. They have to reverse pretty far before they have a shot at me, front mounted turret, and then, oh, there's their hull cheek, bam, straight through it. When I fight Tiger Ps, you normally find that they have a whole bunch of bullet holes to the exact same place, because why wouldn't I? If you're going to show me one of your weak spots, and angled such that it is only 80 mils, I may as well put high explosive shells through you, honestly. As soon as someone attempts to side scrape me when they're driving a Tiger P, I have a bit of a giggle, and at the same time, I feel very disappointed because this is most Tiger P drivers. The Tiger P does not deserve those kinds of drivers. It's very similar to the Henschel Tiger, where everybody gets it because it's the legendary Tiger, and so most of the people who are getting it are not very good. The last thing I should mention about the Tiger P is the HP. I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but with the upgraded turret, before the turret is not so flash, but after the upgrade for the turret, you have 1450 health points. That is more than almost every other tier 7 heavy. I can't mention the one that does have 1500 HP because I said I wouldn't mention it again. Now I'm trying to stick to that. But 1450 HP, that's more than some tier 8 heavies. It's more than the IS-3. So you can take hits when they do penetrate your armor, and if you're using this correctly, they shouldn't. But if they do get through your armor, if they load APCR, if they load high explosive, whatever, it's not going to be that effective because you are bulky. Tiger P is a bulky tank. It can take your hits. And if you know that the enemy won't have enough time to put you down, you can just charge at the enemy. I don't advise it unless you're, late game and you're just trying to get a few more kills and you still have plenty of health points left. Hell yeah, charge! You feel invincible. But, yeah, if it comes down to it, you can take hits. And particularly from artillery. Artillery, my experience with the artillery is that artillery loves me. They've always got the hard on for me, as Jingles puts it. But if they hit the front, they're going to do very little damage, and that damage isn't going to mean much in the grand scheme of things. It's not quite a TOG. Alright, the British TOG 2 Tier 6 has loads of health. It's no TOG, but it is thicker than most other Tier 7 heavy tanks, and so if it comes down to a I shoot you, you shoot me DPM war, you've got a pretty good chance. Because if they bounce one shot, suddenly you've got the edge and you have the HP to just soak those shots. Although I said that the HP was the last thing I was going to mention, I just remembered something else. The tech tree position of the Tiger P is fantastic. Now, if you grind up through the horrible weight of the Tiger P, which means you're going through some of the most distasteful tanks in the game, the Panzer 38 NA. I've been trying to get Ace Tanker in that thing for a very long time. But I must be bad with light tanks. I can't stand the Panzer 38 NA. And the VK 3001P, another one I'm trying to ace, but I just can't do it. But if you get through all that, and you land yourself at the Tiger P, you can research 3 different tanks. You can jump down to the Henschel Tiger, if you decided you didn't want to go through the VK 3601H, I don't blame you. but you can get through the Tiger, and from there up to the Tiger 2, to the E75, to the E100. Or you can jump forward to the VK4502A, which it's not great, but VK4502A, then the VK4502B, and then to the Mouse. Legendary tank, not as good as the E100, but that's as much as I'll say on it. Or, the best part, my favourite, you can jump to the Tier 8 German tank destroyer, the Ferdinand, or as it's often called, the Elephant. And I love the Ferdinand. It is, what can I say? But, so basically, you're able to jump past 6 German tank destroyers to get to the Ferdinand, which is arguably the best Tier 8 tank destroyer. If you know, I haven't driven the Rheinmetall Borsig, I probably can't say that, but better than the Jagdpanther 2. Anyway, you can skip all that and just get straight to the Ferdinand, or you can jump across to the Tiger, or you can just keep on going up that line to the Mouse. Its tech tree position is fantastic. So even if you prefer the Henschel Tiger, well, I still recommend you do it through the Tiger P, because the opportunities for the tech tree are just excellent. So I think that pretty much does it for my review of the Tiger P. Altogether, I love this tank. Throw some equipment on it, put a camo net on, put a camo texture on it because it looks badass, and this tank performs every tier that you're in. I use it to make money because I always do very well. I have 2 marks of excellence in it, and I personally think that was a bit easy, but it's just fantastic. Most Tiger P drivers suck, but don't let that put you off this tank. This tank, if you know how you're driving it, is just devastating. I'm top player on damage in many of my tier 7, 8, and 9 games, and I'm not that good. This tank, if you keep from a distance and just snipe away at people, or if you're in a town and you're taking your corners correctly, it's just devastating. Anyway, I hope this review helped you or entertained you, whichever, or the footage made me laugh, and I'll see you guys next time. And just so that you have a general idea of what you need to do to get Ace Tanker in this tank, is a replay of how I got it on Lakeville. Also, please consider sharing, liking, subscribing even. I'm pretty funny sometimes, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the replay.